A very warm welcome back to the city of Kraków in Poland for the PGL Major 2017. We are more than halfway through our first day. Boo-hoo, I know. But don't worry, we've got 8 days of Counter-Strike to look forward to as well. 4 days left, of course, of the Swiss stage and rounds of 5 to get through. 4 matches have already been done. We're going to move on to match number 5 right now. We've changed our panel a little bit as well. We welcome a former major player here as well at the analyst desk. It isn't Moses. It is actually Natu.
He actually did all 3 in 1 year. Coach, player, and analyst.
Yeah.
2015.
I think that's a world record.
That's got to be a record, isn't it?
Probably no one's going to ever break that.
Yeah, doubtful.
Yeah.
Very, very unlikely.
Unless Fifth Laren decides to,
go
step
coaching.
Up. Yeah. Can you imagine Fifth doing some
playing
coaching?
career, short-lived coaching career, great analyst career.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of fun. I've seen
I wasn't sure
all
if
the
he's having
angles,
a dig.
all the angles of the industry. That's what I'm going for, right?
Yeah, right. Okay. I'll watch out.
Exactly.
Host job's next. It's great to have you here, Natu. Obviously, Moses back again as well for a second shift at the panel. We've got FaZe versus Big Two. I'm looking forward to this in more ways than one. I think mainly because FaZe have been brilliant this year since taking on Nico. They've had some fantastic results, winning Star Series, winning ECS Europe, and then finishing second in the Grand Finals as well. Top 4 at pretty much every event that they've had with Nico so far. They're on fire, really, in that sense of it, but still looking for that really big, like a really big championship win in front of a big crowd against a team who 6 months ago didn't even exist. So this matchup is fascinating for a number of ways.
Yeah, it is, and it's also the the differences in styles, right? Like Big is going to be that heavy tactical style as well, and FaZe is going to play a little bit looser and allow the skill to shine just a little bit more. But that's not to say they're deficient tactically. They still have Kerrigan, one of the better in-game leaders we have in the scene, which is quite cool. But that's going to be the really cool thing, because we saw Flipside at least able in the past, and at least what we saw this morning, able to negate some of that skill with their tactics. Can Big do the same thing? Can they actually achieve that and actually threaten FaZe just a little bit?
Yeah. Absolutely. We'll start with FaZe and take a look at their lineup. Natu, they have been in good form. They are considered to be one of the top 4 teams in the world right now, and certainly potentially top 3 here.
Yeah, I mean, definitely for me, they are up there on the list of potential making all the way. But at the same time, you have to say, Cologne wasn't probably their best outing for sure. I mean, that's right before. No. I know I talked with Alu before Cologne, actually. He said all the focus is in Cologne, but at the major. So, I mean, could that be a factor? But then again, that's what everyone thinks. Everyone that went to that tournament would have to have focus on this. Yeah, it still made it pretty well.
And
but a sluggish
exactly.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. They struggled in the group phases, going through 3 and 2, and they're losing as Mouse Sports and Nuke. They lost against Opting on Train, and then beat Liquid, who's a team that hasn't been top team right in the recent history. So it wasn't a great performance for them, but in the big picture, if you look at the past 3 months, obviously they have to be one of the favorites.
Definitely a threat, and definitely start this match as a favorite, you would imagine.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially because I think that's that Cologne thing. The reason why it feels like we're a little bit down on them is just because I guess it'd be a product of their success, right?
Yeah.
Like that SK FaZe matchup has been so exciting. It's been so close so many different times, and going into that when they got 16-3 or 16-4 or something on the first map, no one showed up on an individual level. Like none of the FaZe members were even in that game. Then you go over to Cash, closer game, but that was all thanks to Rain. He was the only one who really showed up in that match. So then you look at it and you're like, yeah, they get top 4, but it's not the same flair on that top 4 that we've seen at when they make the finals of the other tournaments they've been to.
I mean, 4 months ago, if they'd done, if this was a brand new team 4 months ago and the ESL won Cologne, was the first thing, we'd all be going, wow, brilliant, they've arrived, they've got Nico, they're finally a big team, they can really do it. So it just shows the expectation level on these players has changed.
It's just the fact of the matter is that these players, the intuition they have, individuals, the way they can play off each other is so good in a lot of the effort plan situations, retakes. But then again, when you face someone like SK, in their case, they're the final boss in that sense because they are so good in that kind of a situation. So them going ahead against a team like Big, for example, I feel like they're always going to be on the driver's position in a lot of those situations.
Let's talk about Big. It's a lovely story. I do like the storyline behind them. They were nowhere.
Very romantic.
6-7 months ago, start of the year, I remember them turning up to DreamHack Leipzig, and God B said to me, no, this is the team. This is the team I wanted to form before. It's the team I've always felt we could do well with. We've got firepower, we've got strategy, we're going to be a good team this year, and we're going to make the major by the summer. That was his goal.
For me, I think they've had the right approach. They've gone into it 6 months ago thinking we have to be good at least in 6 maps. So you'll always be in a situation where, especially climbing the ladder, you'll always have the opportunity to veto maps from your opponents that are their strengths instead of having to veto your weaknesses. So they've relentlessly just made sure they have a really, really good map pool. But now it's a different echelon. It's totally a different scale of teams, obviously. So it's going to be the first big test for them.
They will have sat there and watched Penta play SK, and I know it wasn't nice early on for them. It was 10-0. But actually, at the end of the game, they can sit there and go, well, we can hold a candle to Penta. We've had plenty of good games against them. We can beat them. So
if only translated that well.
I know it doesn't translate necessarily straightforwardly like that, but it must give them some karma at points if they, like, in their head they kind of go, well, if they can do that, we can play that well too.
I don't think that ever factors into you as a player. Like, once you start getting into that slippery slope of saying, oh, we can beat this team and they can compete with the top teams, and so you kind of compare yourself to the top teams in that fashion, I think that's actually a really, really poor way to approach it. So, and I doubt they have that mindset going in. I think the interesting thing, this team for the past 6 months, they've done everything right. They've done everything they needed to do. They proved that they're, the top of the class when it comes to the second tier of teams. They've won all those kind of second tier events. They win the EU minor. They got second at MDL 2 Penta, and then they kind of went through the major qualifier, not with ease. They just dropped one map, but they looked good. So now it's that step up, and now this is where the weaknesses really, really get exposed, and this is where the strengths get questioned, where you see what you've built upon. Is it going to work moving forward, or is it just going to crumble down? And this is a whole new level of competition.
Two main factors that people bring up about Big, for those that are tuning in that are new to the team. The first is Godby and the strategy that he's employed. It's obvious that it's working for the team. Yeah. And the second one is, some people say they have a lack of firepower, but if they don't have a lack of firepower, it's because they have Tabson on the team, and he's had some monster performances recently.
Yes, but when you get to this level, you need more than one person, and the wrong person is stepping up to be it. It's Godby, who is the in-game leader, who is the master, the tactician, who is stepping up to be that second option for them, and that can't be the case. Like, yes, it is great to have, and yes, you want the numbers out of your in-game leader, but they need a guy like Kiev, whose AWPing is the reason why they picked him up, how dynamic and how deadly they've seen it be online. It hasn't translated to the tournaments quite yet. They need a guy like Nex, who's been living off potential for 2 years. They need him to step up. So, I mean, they have the firepower in theory. It just hasn't appeared quite yet, and that's where the tactics kind of bail them out.
I'm glad you've brought up Nex, because Nato, I was going to bring him up in the sense that you do still think of him as that guy that's got a lot of potential, but he's had a lot of potential for what seems like 3 years now. And actually, when you look at their roster, he's the one with the most experience at majors, which is astonishing. You think, that can't be right.
Yeah, but he's always been. Everyone, we always talk about it on the desks. Everyone thinks of him as having the capability of delivering numbers that his teams need. But unfortunately, the consistency is not there for him. Whether it's about him individually not feeling well in these kind of scenarios where he's playing big tournaments, or if it's within the system, things just don't go right. What is it? If he gets a bad start, he manages to get back into it. There's a lot of variables.
It's really interesting as well, because Nex was a player when he had that kind of reputation of being the next star and having all the potential, and that conversation started swirling, is when he was under Godby. And when Godby left Mouse Sports, it's when Nex really plummeted, and then it led to his eventual departure of the team. So when he gets back with Godby, he had a pretty good start in this big team under Godby again. So it's like, okay, maybe Godby is the thing. And then on top of that, the tactics and the structure that you provide as an in-game leader is what's supposed to allow players to be consistent, because you know kind of what's coming. You know at all times what you're supposed to be doing, what your role is within that framework. And it's just kind of very disappointing, I guess, is that he hasn't reached it. It's not all doom and gloom though. Let's focus on Tabson. He's quite good.
Yeah, I mean, fairly good results recently, you could say. I think that's a fair assessment to make.
He's just been breathtaking. He's one of the most exciting players I think we have in the scene at the moment. In terms of, and this is the big thing with him, is this team just seems so close, right? Like Godby, Leguia's guy who's always had a lot of question marks, but Godby is pretty adamant about the fact that he wants to play with Leguia, which is really cool, which is another good story. But it just is very interesting to see all that play out, because I think if you go around there's not a lot of other teams that would take Leguia on their team.
Sure. Yeah, it's definitely there's a definite connection between those two players. They played in a number of teams together. We talk about team houses a lot, and Big are one of those that have got a team house. They're all together. There was that remarkable story, I think, where they all went out to the movies. and ended up halfway through the movie just starting to talk Counter-Strike stats, which in my mind I just go, okay, guys, we've had enough. We live together in the same house, for Christ's sake. Like, there's no need to take it to the movie set. But actually, they are literally living and breathing Counter-Strike for the last 6 months, and it's worked because it's got them to the major.
Kind of something you have to do, but at the same time, I feel like there needs to be a difference between your free time and the time you work, just to make it as effective as possible. You want to make sure you're clearing your mind every now and again, and then you'll be more focused once the grind actually starts. But at the same token, you have to say, living together is obviously going to be a massive advantage if you can do that. If you socially manage to click that well that it doesn't really bother you to be spending that much time as a unit, because it gives you an opportunity to go through things in much more detail. It lets you schedule the day a lot better, and therefore you should be becoming a better team in a shorter time.
Jason, could you put up with team houses these days?
No, I personally couldn't.
I think the question was, could we put up with Jason in a team house?
Yeah, exactly.
Probably not.
Yeah, absolutely not. But no, I mean, the big thing is, I mean, if you look at the teams who have made the team houses work, and you look at like SK living together when they moved over from the States, obviously, that's the circumstance of just having to do that in order to get your name out there, to get onto that, the tier 1 level, to be on the world stage in Counter-Strike. Big is a team as well that, coming in. Team houses can work if everyone is like, if you have 5 players like Big does who would like to live, breathe, and eat Counter-Strike, it's going to work. Like, that's just kind of the way it is.
Isn't it the same for SK in the sense that they've had a long way to travel, they're a long way from home, foreign land, foreign language, foreign food. They kind of got to stick together, haven't they? Yeah,
in that sense, within Counter-Strike, but I think they're also a team that has a pretty good grasp on, having their own individual social life or whatever it might be outside of that. I think they've kind of understood that, especially living together for 2 years, you kind of eventually learn how to make that work.
You have to.
Yeah, and the hard work from Big, even if it's not in a team house, I mean, it's admirable, right? Because that's what I think a lot of people don't notice about professional teams is obviously it's hard to track the work it takes to become a professional player and to become a team that's competing at a major, but you have to put in that much work. Like, and it usually requires all 5 players to put in that much work, but definitely you need people putting in 40, 50, 60 hours a week before these events, and even leading up to it, just to get on the team. You have to do the same thing.
Okay, let's turn our attention to the map vetoes, which are incoming fairly shortly, and take a look at the maps that they could play and probably won't play as well. I mean, when you look at it, Big won't play Nuke, but the other 6 are all up for grabs.
I think if you're Big, you want to get this over to like a cache. I think would be kind of ideal, because here's the thing: FaZe has this massive advantage. Their top 4 maps, Mirage, Inferno, Train, and Overpass, they have 11 losses on those maps. 10 of them are to SK and Astralis, and then the one is that little guy about Optic Gaming. So we won't worry about that little guy. We'll take that one out of there. But
it's an outlier.
You're not going to win on those 4 maps. So if you just look at the stats, you just see, and you're just like, FaZe just doesn't lose those maps to teams who aren't the best in the world. So all of a sudden, it just shrinks massively, right? Cache is a map they showed that they could play. I think you kind of want to aim towards that direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And on the other hand, it's interesting to see from FaZe point of view. I think Taz put it very well in his interview when he said, if you're facing someone like FaZe, they might get overconfident when it comes to veto sometimes. But at the same time, they've seemingly steer away from the likes of Cobble and Mirage a lot of the times, the best of ones. But then again, they do have a pretty wide map pool and still an advantage going into this. But then again, it is Big, and we know the preparation that Gabi is going to be putting into it. Now, does theory and actual gameplay work hand in hand is a very different thing, though.
Yeah, okay. We're going to get more thoughts from both of our panel members in just a moment. Vito, as I said, is not too far away. I'm hearing that the players are getting towards heading to the lobby. So before we get there, why don't we check in with the surprise that we showed you during the break? We teased it, but here's the real deal. The Chronicles of Thorin.
Big is the brainchild of Gob B, and this is an individual who's one of the legendary in-game leaders for 1.6, and in CSGO over the last 2 or so years has really established himself again as one of the better in-game leaders in the scene. And the key thing about the Big team was, these are players that Gob B has pretty much hand-picked. Like, he wants this player to play this particular role, and he wants this kind of composition in the team in general. And so they're a team that really do initially live and die based on this tactical approach that he's using. And then as they've built the team up, they've gotten to the level where they can play against the lower tier opponents, and they have this very tactical style. It is very much old school Counter-Strike in terms of how to create space for the star player, how to take over an area for a map, lots of creative smokes and Molotovs to get people into position. And so he's using a lot of kind of the old school strengths, but then with a newer group of players, a bunch of players, some of them younger players, some of them players who haven't had experience at the highest level. And so it's actually kind of a surprise to many that Big's even at the major. This is a team where they were perhaps borderline at the qualification stage. People didn't know if they'd make it in, if they wouldn't. They've looked good at times early on, and then they've also had times where they looked kind of weak as well and didn't look like they were going to become a top team. And so the main star player in Big is Tabson. And he's a player who's been around the German scene. He played with Gobby in NRG a year ago, and he's someone where he was always a decent player, like an average to above average player, but he's never at the level that he's displayed over the last sort of 3 or 4 months, because now Tabson has developed into a really high level player. And he's actually someone where it's not just his skill level, but his understanding of his style of play. It looks like he's comfortable at all times that he's playing, and he understands the range that he's going to take a fight at and how to play against specific types of opponent. And so really, him coming forwards as the star player of this team and a guy who consistently puts up the numbers has given the team a level of routine that they didn't have when they initially put this composition together. So you know when you play against Big that you're going to have difficulties dealing with Tabson. Now beyond that is where the team has some more issues, because as a team they're good and they have a good approach and they know the tactics they want to run, and Gobby's doing a good job of calling the tactics, but it's where that secondary source of firepower comes from in Big. That's the real question that they still are trying to figure out, and currently there is no kind of set solution to, because on the one hand you have Nex, and he is someone where playing with Gobby in Mouse Sports almost 2 years ago now, he really was someone who was a rising talent. He looked like he was going to one day be one of the best players in the world. He had a very high skill level, his aim was very good, and he would have explosive games. But his problem was that always happened in the lineup that had Gobby as the main in-game leading presence. Once Nico came into the lineup, Nex really had difficulties. When he wasn't the main star of the team anymore, he had a lot of problems being effective in games, and especially he seemed to have some kind of psychological difficulty in playing in the big games. When he got to majors, when he got deep in big tournaments, he just wouldn't show up as a player. Whereas if you put him in a smaller tournament and against tier 2 opposition, he would look fantastic. So at the moment in Big, even in some of those tier 2 compositions, Nex has been kind of hit and miss, hasn't really been there. So they're looking, is he going to be the secondary star? They have Keith, who's someone who came up last year in alternate attacks and a main AWPer. The problem is he's not a dominant AWPer. He's not the guy you give the weapon to every round and you go and he creates picks and gets multiple kills. Gobby even says the way they're using him within the team is for very specific kills and in very specific areas of the game. So I feel like Big is a team that has a good team concept. They're just stretched a bit thin, because on the one hand, they must have that star power performance from Tabson. Gobby has to call a good game, but then in terms of where the rest of the firepower comes from, that's where the question marks have been. And unless they can find some answers to that, they're going to have a real tough time when they go up against those elite level teams in the game, the FaZe of the world. Even teams like North should have the firepower to put not Big in a difficult position. So they're a team where they know their win conditions, but they have to solely rely upon them if they're going to do a lot.
Thoughts of Thorin on Big, the brand new team. For the first time they've qualified for a major. We're going to drop you into the vetoes very shortly because they'll be underway between these two. And quick reactions to thoughts? I mean, pretty much mirrored what you guys have already said.
Yeah, it sounded like you listened to this segment, didn't it?
They have 2 star players. They need 3 or 4 to be able to qualify out of these group stages in Swiss. Do you think it helps them a little bit though, Jason, having Swiss?
Yeah, certainly. But still, I don't think it's going to help them necessarily here against a team like FaZe. I think it's going to help them moving forward against other tier 2 teams when you can ban it down to a map specifically that you want. I think FaZe just has too big of an advantage in the map pool. So there's only so much help that can give you, right? You only have a certain number of bans, and you know, especially if they go Team B, they don't even get to pick the map. So I mean, at very least, FaZe can veto this in a way that's going to provide them a map that they're going to be very, very comfortable on.
Okay, you can see FaZe getting ready to do the picks and bans right now. They are going to go through bans. So
Nico already FaZe
removed the first 2, and they're going to remove Cobble and
That's a permaban for FaZe.
Yeah.
And yeah, I said Cash might be the best outcome for Big, and obviously that's taken away right now. So that's Nuke, I believe, taken out of it.
Nuke. Removed from Big.
That's Big's permaban as well.
Mirage going out as well.
Alrighty. Yeah, that's
Fair
not.
I mean, it's not been a great map for Big, so it makes
an
sense.
overpass
Even
removed
though
by
it's
Big
not
as well.
the most played for FaZe either.
So it's going to go to Train, I
Train.
believe? Or something else. But no, I mean, here's the thing. Big as well has a huge problem. Mirage, Inferno, Cobblestone, Nuke, obviously they don't play, but they don't have any wins versus other teams at majors on those 3 maps. So it's like, where do you take this? Especially now that Cash is removed. I thought they might be able to get that one because FaZe like spent a time like right around Starladder. They were trying to incorporate that into the map pool, and it never really came. And that one is going to be
Inferno. Yeah, I did think that they wouldn't give Big the chance to play Train, which they do like, and they have played an awful lot of. And so they're going to end up on Inferno. I guess that's probably okay for Big, though.
Yeah, I mean, they
haven't played it a huge amount of times, but they seem
yeah,
exactly.
It's a lot about map control. It's a lot about, again, Banana is going to be the vocal point of the map. The fight for it in the early parts of the round. I think you have to say someone like Alu here has always been a player that's really liked this map on the FaZe point of view.
Yep.
So he needs to, again, be very dynamic with the aggression that he showcases. Yeah. And I think that could be a massive issue for Big. So like the Big really has to dissect their defaults and the way they approach the map into small segments, into taking the parts of the map for them to be able to then execute to the bomb sites. And that's going to be a hurdle on its own.
Yeah, I mean, does this end up coming down to a battle of the AWPers?
No, but I think one, if it is a battle of the AWPers, I think FaZe just outright wins it, especially because
by default.
If I mean, I haven't talked to Gabi, but Duncan just said they like to use Keeves very specifically for certain kills, and if you're just going to be kind of placing him to get one kill, and he's not going to be able to contain or at least intimidate Alu enough to force him away from aggression, then Alu probably wins that with some of his freedom. Also on this map, I like this is a cool map, I think, for Kerrigan as an in-game leader, because one thing Kerrigan does that, he did it a little bit in Astralis as well, that I really like from an in-game leader is he's the kind that at times will lead from the front, and what I mean by that is when he calls, when he says go to hit a bomb site, he'll actually lead the way in.
Yeah.
So it's actually very, very smart in that sense, because there's no delay in when you decide to make the decision, you make the call, and as soon as your teammate goes, if you're the second guy, you're pretty much forced to follow him. You kind of just have to. You can't just abandon him. So there's no time for that entry fragger to kind of like consider, do I really want to go here? Does the in-game leader know what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling, and maybe he hesitates a little bit. So I think that's quite cool, especially in a map where you have to take over those bomb sites pretty quickly. I think there's just too many advantages here for FaZe. We haven't even gotten to Raid or Nico.
No, actually, we will get to that in just a moment. But first, Sir Scoots has managed to catch up with both of the coaches, so let's hear from them now.
Thank you, Paul. Yes, I do have both coaches for the next match. I got Kakafu over here from Big, and I got Robin over here from FaZe. So we're going to start with the new guys on the block. Obviously, fairly new team. Players are not new to the game, but this brand started in January. You've been rocking and rolling. Obviously, everyone's talking about how tactical you are. Gabi has kind of built this roster that he really loves. How is it going for you guys the last couple of months? What have you been up to prepare for the major?
I mean, it went really good actually. So we qualified for the major. We also qualified for EPL, so it was a huge step for us for a new team. And how do we prepare? We live in a team house. I think many already know, and we can always talk about CS overall. So we are in the game a lot. So we talk about a lot of enemies, for example, FaZe in this time. And our preparation is just 5 to 6 hours playing, like only playing, and then we just talk about the game even for 3-4 hours, and that's how we finish our day too.
And you guys been a little busier. You've been on the road. You just came back from Cologne. You got 3rd, 4th place there. Probably not what you wanted, but again, as you arise, you're what? I think ranked 4th by Half-Life TV right now, 3rd or 4th. So you're a top team. What did you guys prep before Cologne? Was it all about Cologne, or were you thinking about the major? And then how did you prep since Cologne?
I would say we kind of used Cologne as practice for this. We had 5 computers there, so we practiced every day, and we had a few days after Cologne that we used to prep for this as well. So we feel good. We're in good shape now, and we're ready to play.
Keeping it with you, you have an international roster. Nobody's from the same country, right? How is that working out? Obviously, you're all using English as your main language, I imagine, when you're calling stuff, or is that incorrect?
No. Obviously, it's different from what I'm used to in the past, But it's all right. We're getting there. In the start, it was kind of hard with all the call-outs and all the small stuff. But we have been working with this for a long time now, so it doesn't even feel anything different now, I would say.
Gotcha. And your side, again, mostly all Germans. I know that Christian's behind you, and he wants to build Germany up again to be a big champion. Any issues with? I want to ask about the house a little bit. The guys on the desk talked about it, and the days of Evil Geniuses, we had a team house for StarCraft, and it's a great thing, but it can turn really south really quick. It sounds like you guys have found that balance, at least right now, to not to have everything going positive for you.
Yeah, exactly. Legia, Gabi, and Tabson already were in the team house with energy, and they came here and they said, we need this. It was really good, and everybody was kind of agreeing, because if the teammates like come together and understand each other like very well, it's perfect. Like, we understand each other very well. We don't get that kind of annoyed. We can like hang out all the time. We actually go together in holidays too, like the whole team. So that's pretty insane. So yeah, we kind of get along very good.
That's nice, and hopefully that stays the same. You know, everyone stays out of the gossip and all that good stuff. One last question. Let's talk about Inferno. I talked to you a little bit before we went live. You're pretty happy with the choice. I think you were probably wanting cash. The guys on the desk thought you would want cash if you could. These guys got rid of it, but how'd the veto work out for you?
No, the veto went exactly how we thought. So yeah, so we can narrow it down to Train and Inferno. We exactly knew it's gonna be that. So we knew they're gonna ban Cobble because it's a perma ban. They know that we are really good on cash, and we knew what we're gonna ban. So it was Train and Inferno all along. So we knew that. We prepared for these two maps, and we're gonna see if we can keep up against FaZe.
Do you like the new system of no random map, and it's literally in, you know, you guys are deciding it one way or another?
Yeah, of course. Like, the random map was really bad, like insanely bad. Now the veto is fine. I think it's even better for teams that prepare better, because the first team that starts banning cannot react on your ban. So let's say we would have banned Cobble, for example, they would have had one good ban for them. So if you prepare good, that veto is better than we have right now.
And as for you, you know, you're happy with Inferno, but did that go as you thought it would go?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's true for us. It goes same for us. It was between 3 maps though for us: Train, Overpass, or Inferno, and we're happy with Inferno as well.
All right. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Shake hands, do all that fun stuff. Back to you at the desk, Paul.
Yep, thank you, Scott. Great stuff from both coaches. They're ready. We're almost ready as well. So let's just get our final predictions from our 2 members of the panel. Natu, which way are you leaning here?
FaZe. I mean, I don't think there's. First of all, I have the bias, obviously. So
it's the Finnish bias.
It's a default.
You have a team of 5 here, by the way, from Finland, but they're all playing for different teams.
That's true. We could just go.
I don't know what that says about the Finnish scene, but I'm not going to comment on that.
Jeez.
All good things.
Wow.
All good things.
Good,
it's all right. We have
mates.
Kiyoshima from Britain.
But I think the big the big thing here is. Wow, no pun intended, is the fact that for Big, they kind of have to, or they can't really account for something that's not accountable, which is just the way, you know, FaZe can just click and be so aggressive, and they get beat in your face. And like I said earlier, the amount of intuition these players have and how they react to situations correctly time and time again. When they're down number, they know when to be aggressive. When they have the advantage, they know when to hold off a little bit. So I think those are the kind of things that are going to swing this game to the way of FaZe.
Okay, Jason?
Yeah, I don't think Big's ready for this test. I think even if you discount, you know, all the tactical things, it's going to have to be an insane game from Gabi, because if you look at this roster from FaZe, Nico, I mean, Alu on Inferno specifically, Rain, these are guys we've seen take over matches like single-handedly and I mean beat the very best on this map. Yeah, I'm going FaZe all the way. I don't see it going any other way.
All right, okay, thank you, gentlemen. We'll head over to our commentators for game number 5 of the day. Is it a baptism of fire at their first ever major against FaZe? Let's find out with Sadakist and Henry G.
Well, in some ways it is, because it is Inferno.
Oh, that's good. That's why you're the best. Self-proclaimed best.
Yeah. If Thorin was my alter ego, which could be possible, let's be honest. True. I'm kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And kind of, you know, I won't go further with that one.
Let's leave it.
I think it's an interesting point that Big has, you know, built this team over the course of 2017 and built it very much with the goal of making it to this major. And here they are. They've achieved that goal. They are definitely tactical, and they knew the draw, much like we said about Penta, coming into this week and a half in advance, and could prepare. So I expect Gabi's going to have something, especially where they said they knew the veto.
I'm not as excited as I was about the first game. I actually thought Penta had a better chance of beating SK than Big do of FaZe. Sure, FaZe looked really poor at Cologne. I have to say, they went from the 5th round right of the Swiss system. They had some abysmal games, but they've been boot camping since then. They've been practicing, realizing what the errors were. We had Rain almost non-existent in that event, one of the worst performances we've seen from him in quite a long time. Alu looked poor as well. I feel like they're going to turn it around. I think this is a great way to get warmed up. I think Bid, yeah, I actually agree. I think they're a great tactical team, and they've done amazing to get to a major. It's a really nice romantic story in that sense, but I just don't think they have the firepower to go up against one of the hardest hitting teams in CSGO. Kiyoshima, Rain, Nico, Alu as well, the AWP. These are big names and difficult opponents to take on one-on-one duels. You can have all the tactics in the world. At the end of the day, you do have to beat them in duels. Sure, they might have stuff prepared, but FaZe, they're also going to be playing a lot looser style. If they get the pistol going, a few rounds in the bag, some money flowing, Nico running in their faces, and an Inferno as well, Matt. we have to say, I still think Alu's one of the best AWPers on this particular map. I think his style works perfectly for it. The CT side especially, aggressive and trying to find those opening picks, not scared of anyone it seems. And that's something that Kiev has to overcome. Who's an okay AWPer? I think he's decent. He can have some big performances every now and then. But against Alu, I think like he'll get shut down here.
It is, have I told you this, Henry,
Go
a
on.
momentum-based map of
You
all
did
the maps.
mention
Did I mention that before?
A couple of times, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to mention it again. So there is a chance that they could get something rolling on the T side. I don't think we'll have a dramatic match quite like the last one. That one was a bit of an anomaly.
Wow.
A blip for SK if they want to look at it that way. But it is going to be FaZe starting out CT side, and I do tend to echo your sentiments, especially with the aggression that FaZe likes to play with, especially with the no-respect style that Nico and Alu will get into if the AWP is hitting and Nico's on form.
How technical is this pistol going to be? We have 2 Molotovs, 2 smokes, flashbangs, decoys, no upgraded pistols. We know this team likes to be tactical. They have great smoke execution, especially on this map. So we'll see what they can bring to the table here. Early apartments control coming in. Tabson, the MVP, the star, if you like, for Big. And we'll see whether he can step up here. They are not going to have any sort of banana control whatsoever. This means they have to go quickly towards B, or A, I should say. Alu will be patrolling towards top of Arch, trying to find his first pick. Like we said, aggressive play style here. Smokes deployed. That'll take him out of the equation. And they'll be presumably committing towards the quad side.
Shots through the smoke from Alu. Quad side they go. So not a B hit like you normally see on pistols. Rush in, Rain's ready for one, but down by Tabson. And next quick wraparound. Bomb's going to be grabbed, picked up, and then Lakia goes fighting to catch off the rotations. A good pickup as well. It puts them a man ahead with the bomb down. Kit picked up for Alu. He has a smoke as well. Keep that in mind. Next is inside of the site, so the smoke might be tough to work with, but the shots are not. Nico, Tabson, they each get one and go down with the other. It's next inside of the site, caught off as Nico wraps in from Library. Good timing on the wrap as Alu gets in position with the AWP. The kit. It's not quite the AWP.
It's coming, eventually.
Sooner or later.
So you have to say, Big, perfect execution. That's pretty much a perfect example as to how we've described this team. Big, great at the tactics, good map control there. The default was great, held up for a while, smokes down. One towards the left-hand side, blocking off Arch. One towards Library as well. Best smoked, I think, on a pistol round you can possibly have. Map control, aplenty. Kills coming in. But coming up against Nico and Alu there, and the retake, this couldn't hit the shot required. Sure, they're up against the USPs, but started to crumble a little bit there, and that's a big round for FaZe to pick up. Bomb going down means Big will be purchasing in the third round the AK-47s, get some PT-50s and a Deagle for next here. One smoke to work with, in the back pocket of Lagia. One D does not land just yet. We'll have a look at the buy for FaZe as well, preparing for the AKs in the third. You can see 3 rifles coming out. Kiyashima on the Mag 7 and Karrigan on the MP7, a weapon we're seeing more and more of since the nerf of the UMP. This should be quite a clean cut affair. If Big get the bomb down, that's a victory within itself. So keep your eye on that as we enter the 1 minute 20 mark. Nothing really given away just yet. Trying to bait out some city utility. Got to give too much away for now. They have got some apartments control. See one player over towards B. That's Kiev. The AWPer of the side as he just shows some presence. His teammates will be getting ready to presumably go towards quad and try and get some refrags in their favour.
Tabson peeks his head out from Boiler. Smoke still down top mid, so he's covered off partially to his left side at the arch angle. His little booties, as you would say, would have been showing.
Indeed.
But not much more. You would say that. They go passive as well on the FaZe side. They don't need to confront the pistols too close and away from the site to give up guns. At least if they play passive. They do wrap around and get a few kills. The guns are not necessarily attainable.
Yeah, all towards middle, all 5 players. Aim for the best. Hopefully Tabson can find that first shot. Time ticking away now. They might have to experiment towards Arch, but here we go. Final play coming in.
Execution from Rain follows up. Lagia, same thing. Chicken in the corner gives away the position for Keo, but no one's walking out that direction. They go through the smoke. They try and wrap around instead. Spray transfer from Alu. He gets 2. Rain stole the 1 just before, but it's 2-0 for FaZe.
Yeah, just one of those annoying rounds for Big, just hoping a CT player would make a mistake and get a little bit impatient there. Waiting until the very last second. Can be frustrating to play against, but Big don't manage to pick up a single kill or get the bomb down, of course. So, round number 3. This is the round we've been waiting for. This will be the purchase into the game. Considering they've got the bomb down and the pistol, they will have 3 rifles here, 2 of which are AKs, a Galil for God B, and 2 players on UMPs as well, just to give them a bit more utility to work with. They've got some great tactics here. One of my favourites is when they smoke in front of the B site itself, like towards the fountain, and first already just go through CT spawn. That's quite a creative, nice idea we saw a lot in the Source, but not so much in CSGO, so watch out for that. Going to round number 3 here. No orbs for either side, of course. FaZe, I guess you can class as a bonus round. The fact they've got Mag 7s and MP 7s, and they know they're up against the rifles this round, but a couple of SMGs in there for Big as well, so it's pretty equal in terms of firepower. 5 players once again in second middle, and lining up smokes from what I can see. Nothing towards B whatsoever. Next is watching for anyone flanking behind. Makes a lot of sense. Smokes deployed. Alu once again taken out of the equation. Nice deep smokes. I mean, he can't boost it over or do anything like that.
And I suspect Kerrigan, being low in banana already, throwing a nade through the smoke to push anyone back, as well as the smoke that was deep itself, is going to want to start pushing out. Nico's staying with him, but as soon as they get any further information on A that there's a chance they're not watching bottom mid, Kerrigan will go for the flank. Molotov goes inside of the door, collects some decent damage as well. Tabson's down to 30 and Kiev tagged on to 71.
Yeah, they got much more value for that incendiary than they bargained for, I think.
Bounce the smoke, not quite. That's going to go over to the arch instead. Rain's waiting. Alu covered off on the cross. Good find from Rain. No one to follow out immediately. No trade. And as they follow up, it's a massive amount of damage through the smoke. Alu gets 2 more. Next goes back for the bomb, and there's Kerrigan on the flank as expected. MP7 in hand. And he finds the kill.
Very slow, methodical CS from Big so far, but can't really find anything towards the latter stages. They got the map control, they're in towards Boiler, but took way too much damage from that incendiary at the start. I'm not really sure what happened there. They're hoping for a CT to run around the corner and get a pick, but down to 30 HP, that's a star player, taps in, and at that point, Rain could hear that damage coming in, playing at the quad position as well. Watches them come out, times it to perfection, finds the first couple of frags as well, sets up the alley-oop for Ali to spray them down through the smoke. A ton of damage done with that Famas. Ali with the clean-up. So, 3-0, force by not really working out for Big whatsoever. Goes round number 4. Pistols, Deagles, they'll have state loss bonus after this one with 2k per player. That should be enough to buy into. Alan might go down here, calling for backup. There it is. Copy takes him down. The Rain, the beast of FaZe, manages to get the frag in return. It's going to be Legia to commit through with the fire play there, but Kiyashima finds him.
Flames in a single bullet. Do the trick. Tabson on 30 has the M4 picked up. No armor and 30 HP though. He sits at top mid, no one can flank out. If they don't get to the site, he may just look to save that gun, hence he goes back inside of the boiler doorway. Watch Kerrigan's timing as well. Thompson, excuse me, was caught out entirely. It was Nex that was going back into the boiler, so he gets downed already. Gun's still at the corner. Nex not facing it yet, wants to try and take the fight. Kiev gets one on the Deagle. That's all they get as Kiyashima puts him down, and they keep 3 rifles up.
Yeah, but this is when the AWP comes out, and we did say Alu, one of the absolute best AWPers on CT side of Inferno we have. FaZe experimented for a while with the double AWP setup. They had Nico towards B and Alu with the AWP in the middle as well, but I wasn't a fan of it. Sure, they won an event with that setup. Like, it was very touch and go there. You'd feel like that was the reason they were crumbling, and in fact the game got so close is because the B site looks quite weak. I don't think they'll be falling back to that again unless required. Alu's more than capable of AWPing solo on this side of the map. But no AWP for Kiev, yep. Down to a rifle. We'll see what he can do, but Ali looking towards T-steps. Not fully committing just yet. Thinking about it. Let's watch his second middle now. Definitely a player to watch in this first half. Round number 5. As this time, we do have some banana presence from Big. First time they've really tried to get to the side of the map, apart from the pistol with the rush, but we'll see what happens next. Let's hope for B. Molotov's coming in as well, just trying to get map control. It's all very good so far. This has been great. This part of the game is where Big excels at. Getting map control, utilizing the nades correctly, and having a game plan in terms of the round outcome.
Alu and Nico waiting will get smoked off. At least Alu will. He hasn't put one out toward Coffins yet, and Nico's going to play new box. They don't follow up immediately on the smoke, so aforementioned lack of smoke toward Coffins means the rotation's able to come in. Looks like they will throw in late, but Alu's not going to be in front of it. He'll go around instead inside of the site. They're actually going to smoke on the default plant spot, so watch for them to rush through and try and get the bomb down. Legia is the last in. Full wall and a wrap back through, potentially on Ruins. We know Gobby has tactics. And a single smoke to isolate, which puts Gobby into position. Tapson finding Nico in the site as well means Alu with 14 can't do anything of it. So clever indeed. Full wall, front sight, wrap right, and a deep smoke to get the position in Ruins early. All they have to focus on is the entry kills at that point.
That's a tactic I was calling out at the start of the game. It's really cool. No one else at the top tier of the scene is actually doing that tactic right now. It's actually quite smart when you think about it. It eradicates the risk of the boosted player in CT spawn because he hasn't got a smoke to protect him anymore. So that smoke that goes in deep, they can concentrate on him, flash it, go towards ruins, and pin to the bomb side. It's really stifling for a CT side, and that's one of my favorite strategies that Big brings to the table. And that's how they win rounds, with these kind of avant-garde strategies that no one else really does. So 4-on-2, and Kiyoshima trying to find some exit frags here. That T-steps flashed off fully. They're not giving anything away here, Big. Nice round for them to post the first on the scoreboard and actually take down Kiyoshima as well. That's got B to find the frag, and 4 players surviving as well. Doesn't get much better than that in terms of set-piece strategies that work perfectly. Nika gets 1 frag, that's it. Shuts them down, still plenty of money to work with here, but really nice play from Big Gen.
And it goes back to you know, theories that some people just mimic other teams and don't do the research themselves. Maybe some are lazier than others, are not innovative enough. But Gobby, if it's true what they said, you know, we talk about CS, you know, 6 hours a day. Even when they went to the movie, they were talking about it. You can see why. He's theorizing everything. He knows what he wants to achieve, and he just sits and looks and goes, how can I achieve that?
Such a cool strap. Perfectly kind of played out there in the replay. But here we go. Round number 6. Still the orb for Alu. This time towards top and middle. This is a much faster play there from Big. Changing the pace straight away. Alu has to fall back here. Hold a different line at the arc. Can't hit a shot just yet. Surely be taken down here.
Absolutely. Nothing he can do. Watch the rotation. They nearly get shots back to Tapson, who realizes it as Nex engages. They can't afford to put too much time shooting backwards through the arch because they have to get to the site, now open as well. As Nex will bring the bomb in. Legia's already cleared the pit.
Saving already.
Yep, I think they have to because they lost all but one in the last round.
That's such a sick call from Big. The fact of the matter is they've actually been so slow, so methodical so far, getting really patient map control, deploying the smokes and molotovs, pushing those CTs back slowly but surely. But this time, we've just won a round. Let's completely reset them. Let's just work out where we can just get up towards middle. Let's get up really quickly. Just as they're adjusting to what we're doing, straight up towards middle. Smokes in R, smoke towards library as well. Stick as a 5-man unit. Alu just didn't see it coming as well. One flashbang. A little bit discombobulated, fell back towards the arch, didn't have time to get back there. Orb dropped, had no impact whatsoever. We said he was a dangerous factor for FaZe, but so far, hasn't really had that much impact for the AWP. Clean round for Big once again. If you're keeping all 5 players alive and FaZe is at the back out, you've called the perfect strategy at that point. Godby's done it again. Nico, Carragher, and Kiyoshima will survive on the B side of the map, but now they're looking a bit rattled. So, money's starting to build for the Big side. FaZe will go to buy into this one, but FaZe didn't see that one coming. That's a really nice adjustment for Big, just dictating the pace of the game.
That is absolutely a great call.
Yeah, really cool stuff.
Especially where, like you said, they've gone so slow. FaZe gets beat by tactics. They're going to expect more. Alu missed some key shots, undoubtedly. 2 to be exact. Rain's going to go aggressive top mid. Pistols not yet going to be the call because they got enough for this round, but Rain spotting down, gets a nade deep. They're trying to do damage early. Doesn't catch anyone and nearly gets shot off. So Alu has to back up. AWP is still in hand. Oh, watch the Molotov. Ooh, Godby down to 21. So this is the slower play again. 3-man stack on Banana as well, which they clearly want control of. Keev's going to flash high and try and push them back. They'll rotate off Kiyoshima, or start to, but as soon as that flash comes through, he stops and stays close to the action.
Well, everything gets a little bit quiet now. Bomb still down in T-steps. See Nex and Keeve looking for any aggression from the CT side. Nico, a Banana by himself. The call's been made by FaZe. 4 players on the A side. Nico, the strongest aimers we have in the game, will be patrolling the B side towards Banana, to be exact. And that's where they could end up as well. He has a lot of pressure on his shoulders, considering the bomb's still down in T-spawn as well. Suggests they will finish up a B. Nico deploys his final smoke, his last bit of utility to hold this B side, but that buys them enough time. That's going to make things uncomfortable for the T's, considering they're 30 seconds. That could, in fact, funnel them towards the A side of the map. I think, indeed, it has.
Legia catches off Kerrigan. That'll pull it back ever so slightly. 23 seconds, however, and they're backing off toward B. Nico's going to burrow himself in the site. That's going to make time a factor. If he stays aggressive and they get the early kill, he might be able to, they might be able to rush down the site, where he goes back inside of it. Now he rotates over. This is pressure on. It's a bit of a tight choke point, a pressure cooker even, but Nex finding the quick kill quick enough on Nico means they'll hold off Alu, missing yet another key shot. And they take control of the site with a bomb that goes down with only 4 seconds to spare. A man advantage as well, and Nex takes Kiyoshima as soon as he arrives. Not expecting the AWP to fire through ruins. It's all down to Rain. No saving this time. They'll be on the save no matter what. So with the kit, does he fancy it, or does he try and build economy for later? try and damage that of Biggs because they have 2 players on low HP. He's going to take his chances. All 3 kills for Nex so far. Nex inside of the site finds a 4th.
Next, a player that's been called out for his drop-off in form in recent years, but this is looking promising for him. A massive round there, taking down 4 players in total, and a round that looked like Big were completely shut down from. They had 4 players from FaZe towards the A side of the map as well. Nico patrolling B, like we said, is buying time, dropping the smokes perfectly, funneling them towards A. They go towards A, they find a pick, and they actually end up back towards the B side. Nico finds yet another frag, and Alu rotating in as well. We thought that's the round done, but Alu, he goes in through ruins, misses that key shot, and opens up the window of opportunity even further for Big. Next picks up the AWP, manages to find a few more, and it's 4-3. I think the money has been broken for FaZe here, and we might just have a game on our hands. I didn't think we would, but pistols across the board for FaZe here. Deagles, P250s, 5 smokes, interesting enough. So they're going to play this like a default. They are a very good pistol side, especially with the Desert Eagles. So what do you want for Nico? Here's the statistics of the 2 in-game leaders for now. God B actually leading a charge in that respect. 5 kills for him, 2 for Carrigan. He's going to run number 8. Scoreline is 4-3 in favour of FaZe. Keeve on the AWP. Not really much FaZe can do with this, but they have got the smoke, so maybe we'll see something interesting come out.
Molotov flash. Double nade. Nico, thankfully, is forward of it. Has armor as well, so could have been very costly. It turns out not to be. Keeve looks for a few shots as they advance. Namely Nex. Double stack position over toward, oh, look at those bullet holes. They're trying to wall it, but no one on the other side of it. Rain and Keo double stack over toward the quad side, but it's all on B, at least early on. Bomb is intentionally dropped. The top of the T stairs, and Tabson and Legia backing out of Boiler, if anything. Should go back to grab that. They've at least pushed the CTs back inside of the B site. I think that's going to encourage them to go for an execution. Do they go for the same one again, though? That's the question.
Well,
and if they do, have they even figured out how to counter it? It hit them so fast last time. It will be the deep smoke. Second one in front. It is the same tactic. Wall is there.
Yeah.
This time, however, there's a smoke in front of them, and on the inside of said smoke, it's Kerrigan that waits, or is it the fake? It's the fake off of the same strategy against the pistols. They're already rotating as well. No contact. They can't be overconfident in that rotation. To go back, Keo will confirm they are still walking toward A, and Alu gets back through library as quick as he can. Tapson should be ready for it, and just barely gets the last bullet in before he goes around the corner, but still problems. Keo drops the bomb, 14 seconds. They've got to get the plant and thankfully find Rain in the corner.
Yeah, that should be it at this point. Quite an exciting process there for FaZe. Funneling them to where they wanted them to go, towards that A side where they had players waiting, but the rotation's a little bit off there at that stage. FaZe didn't really have much to work with. The smokes were good. You can see what they're trying to do with that, but ultimately only finds them 1 kill. Taps in with 3 in total. And now we tie things up 4-4 on the T side. And money starting to get stronger for FaZe once again. They can bring out a double offset if they wanted to, which indeed comes out. Nico with that secondary AWP. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't think Nico looks particularly hot on this map with the AWP, but we'll see whether he can step up here. It might make sense in that regard because he can actually go a bit more aggressive. The AWP can get boosted up on the wall position perhaps, and they don't have to be as passive. He can try and hunt for those first frags, but I'm sure Big will be anticipating this at some point. Everyone knows that FaZe do like this setup. As we go to round number 9, all tied up, 4-4.
Alu and Rain cover the top of middle. Nico, Kerrigan, Kiyoshima. With the deep smoke from Keo. Started off in Banana, he rotates back around. Tapson's gonna have to leave a damage deposit in the apartments because he's put a few holes in the wall. He'll get ready for a smoke that goes over to the arch side. Quickly thrown. Bounces for a while, so it actually has a late bloom, which gives them time to get set up at the top of middle and join him as he walks out from Boilers. That's actually quite clever in its timing.
Get your money's worth for it. Safe position to throw it from as well. Takes the AWP out of the round. 1 minute remaining. As we said though, the AWP of Nico. Patrolling Banana once again. That's what he wanted to do. He wants to be actively hunting for frags here. Getting information for his team. 4 CT players on the A side of the map. Another execution presumably coming in at this stage. Smoke starting to line up now. Legia moves it towards the pit side, and that could be the fake. It's up to Nico now to step up as Keeve's coming back to challenge.
It's frustratingly slow.
Yeah.
FaZe to play against Big. Trying every tactic, every gimmick in the book, but all they need is a few rounds. They've gotten 4 already. They are walking too slow, I'm afraid. for Kiev to peek off Nico. Easy shot in the end, and that will definitely confirm they go toward a 19 seconds again on entry. Gobby, he's burning Kiyoshima because it's spilled over the edge of the balcony as well as gone behind it. There's nowhere to play inside a pit, and yet Kyo finds a small angle of opportunity. As he and Alu combine for kills, and they have to save. They have to back off. They couldn't get in fast enough to go for the plant, so this time FaZe win it, but 2 guns kept alive.
Yeah, that's intel picked up for big at this point. Sure, FaZe win the round, but it was a good adjustment for them. He said the orb could be promising. If Nico's there, more confident to challenge towards these steps of the AWP on that wall position as well. Took down Kiev. They didn't really have the time to work with there to push Nico back. He could actually keep his 4 teammates at the A-bomb site. Good crossfires there. This was too easy, though. You can see Kiev such a slow face. He needed to either flashbang over, then take the challenge, push Nico back, but you could see sees his little butt come around the corner, takes him down. Not too much of a hassle there, and then cool, no one else is there. So FaZe very comfortable that round, but Big still plenty of money as we go into round number 10. You're going to see a faster play towards Banana this time, trying to shut down the orb. Nico's going to challenge, but flashed off. Nades in front of him. How does he hit that? My God.
It's quite impressive and quite quick through the edge of the wall. Q fires one back very optimistically.
Yeah, so another change of pace there, trying to shut down this AWP, but unfortunately, they do lose the first player there. 5-4 as Ligia gets dropped through the wall, courtesy of Nico. Maybe just go for the full commitment here. You're already a man down, drop the smokes and see what they can do, but knocked out themselves with the reaction from the CT side.
Molotov's in. They'll land at Emo. And just Emo, I suppose. Thought I saw a second one lobbed in that bounced toward the fountain, but it was Emo that it covered off. No entry off of it. Orange 1 occupied by Kerrigan, and Nico flashed off. Is going to get on top of the coffin. Excuse me, smoked off. Is going to get on top of the coffin. The AWP. 4 players left for Big, and they all head toward B. Nico up above the smoke, able to find the kill quickly. They smoke off towards CT. They want to get faster than that, but Molotov's extinguished. Give Nico more room to work. Alu's got a kill on Gobby with a nade alone. And with Kiev down, it's on to Tabson, who's not yet had a breakout star performance. He's keeping up there with everyone. He's tied first for the team at 6, but this round goes all FaZe Clan.
Yeah, Alu's starting to wake up now as well. Another 3 kills for him with the AWP. This double orb setup, I said at the beginning of the game, I wasn't a fan of it, but it's been perfect so far for FaZe. All 5 kills coming from Nico and Alu that round. To go back to a point as well, they talked about the expectations of FaZe based on success. The one tournament they have won in all of the tournaments they've played was Star Ladder, and it was this map they ended up winning with a double op that looked like it was actually hindering them until one round by Nico. Yeah, that was it. That's what I remember casting as they need to get off this. Like he looks
and then they did it.
Down. And then they did it anyway, of course. But yeah, it definitely looked weak. But this seems like the perfect adjustment to take a team like Big down. Someone who's so slow and default and, like you said, frustrating to play against. You get players who can get established on a position like Banana and start hitting shots. At the beginning here, that was a nuts shot. To take down Ligia there, I don't think he spotted. I think that was through the wall, I'm guessing, after the initial nades.
Yeah, right here.
There it is. Yeah, so a nade went off, and it was Nico's nade, then he gets him through the wall. So that's really nice. And then Alu coming in with 3 kills in total as well. These double orbs just making it all happen here for FaZe. We go into round number 11, scoreline 6-4. Kiev with the AWP once again. Money's still strong. I think they have 1 more buy available, Big. They won't be the greatest buy they lose this round, but boosting players up towards the quad. That's going to be Rain that's posted in position, and Kiyoshima beneath him to bait him in. Alu with the orb towards our side. Nico not as aggressive this time, but they do drop a smoke at the bottom towards T steps, and Kerrigan wants to get towards the logs this time by the looks of things. Lining up the smokes once more. Big Clan trying to work things out here. Get towards apartments. Bombs there as well. Nothing towards Banana whatsoever. Next is watching the flanks.
Try an angle for Kiev on the AWP. Tabson checks the hallway to confirm it's clear before setting any nades. In case there's anyone close by who pops around the corner where the pin's pulled. Pull the plug on the dam because they'll flood out. Rain is going to flood back in. He gets 3. That's Kiyoshima that has to watch for the next as Ligia. Batters back to 19 HP. As he heads in around toward the hay bales. Bomb still dropped outside of Boiler. They left that there in all of the exchange, so they have to be a little bit careful and cautious of how they go back to find it. His next does battle against Alu, forces him off the corner. Means Ligia should be exactly that, expecting him to go toward the site. It's a perfect play off the team. And therefore, bomb is picked up as they wrap back around to double on quad. It's Kerrigan next in line. Nico's still slow to follow up on the rotation. AWP as well for him. So Kerrigan has it all to do. Check it. Too loud. Low HB goes down next. It's going to Molotov. Doesn't hold for plant. Wants to force him out to the right, which he does and follows it up. Needs to get the plant quickly. Kerrigan's going to be so close on top of him, but he may get the kill. He may find Kerrigan and does next. What an incredible reaction time to take down Nico.
Oh my goodness, it doesn't get much closer than that. Next, it was the two names we haven't come to expect to deliver rounds from Big. Legia, 3 in total there. It seemed like consolation frags after Rain. This amazing performance towards quad. It was so perfect, so precise, calm as well. Drops the bomb, and it's a 5-on-2 at this point, Matt. And Legia, of all the players on this team, is the one to step up and find 3 kills in return. Comes down to the 1v1 eventually. Next there, using the Molotov to perfection in the pit, gets Kerrigan out of position, and somehow wins the round. Nico had to hit that shot with the AWP, and like he said, gets the kill in return. 6-5. We continue the action here as Next finds yet another practice from Kerrigan once again, this time with fire. And it's a 5-on-4, and they want a little bit more as Next keeps pushing up. Nico low HP as well, lucky to stay alive.
Meanwhile, Next goes back up to the top of Banana this time. Oh, Alu spotted the jump. If he fires in now. Dear God, call the ambulance. Good shot from Kiev. Gets him down. He goes for the peek anyway. Gets position on him. Nico makes up for 1. Switches to the Deagle, but taken out by Next on the headshot entry. Which means bomb planted and a save coming in already. M4s are backing off. This is another round. 6-6. Bigger definitely hanging in there.
Yeah, absolutely. They're looking impressive here on Inferno, I have to say. Getting some big clutches in there as well, not just relying on the set pieces, the fast plays, the great calls, just actually having some of the names you haven't expected so far, like Next, Legia, actually finding them really important impact frags. Number 12 will be going in favor of Big. They'll tie things up at 6-6. Kiyoshima and Rain trying to hold on to their weaponry, and that's a really important deal, actually. The fact is, they lose these weapons. They're going to be eco next round for sure. They only get $1,400, or $1,900, I should say, after this round. 2-4 saves, still not enough to buy, but at least there's something to work with there. Rain and Kiyoshima towards the A side of the map. They are being hunted right now. They look safe to me. I don't think they'll go down. But just getting 1 frag in this situation would be very beneficial for Big. There it is. Tamsin takes it down.
Absolutely, as Keo waits. Shots from Legia. Got it after the round as well.
Amazing. Well, there you have it. 6-6 as we enter round number 13. Pretty harsh reset for FaZe. Big are going to take the lead here, Matt. It's going to have to be an eco. Not really much FaZe can do about this one. Lots of money available. The big name's starting to turn up, and here we go. Kiev up against Alu here. This is the first shot. It'll work. This is turning to be a very exciting game. An old classic tactic here. Rush down middle on the eco, and it works out for now. God B dropped. They're not going to be stopping just yet. Rain trying to get the refrag as well. Might get a bit more, but Next and Tabson going to town, especially Tabson. Finds 2 frags and the third. Clinical stuff there, the Glock to finish things off. There it is, 7-6. Got a bit dicey with the damage inflicted, a couple of players dropping, but overall, pretty comfortable. Going to round number 14 map. And what was working so well for FaZe was that double AWP setup. That's no longer available. After getting shut down a couple of rounds in a row, taking some ecos now, they get the 5 and 4s out, 1 kip, Kerrigan no utility apart from 1 smoke. And, of course, Alu no AWP for an eco either. So this is where they were struggling in the early stages, losing to the tactic play of Big. The executions, they couldn't hold him off. So is this Big actually winning the half on the T side of Inferno against FaZe? That'd be something pretty epic, I think.
Same nade for Tabson that bounces quite a few times before it drops in front of the cubby. See the shadow of it. Off 2 roofs and then 3 bounces. 4 if you want to be really technical in the last one. And then they bust in. Good flash. Gobby's able to take down Keo. Rain's able to follow it up, though, from in the sight. Tabson and Legia are found before Next can do anything of it. Rain knows there's one more in there in the pit, but needs to get a better position. Knows the Molotov's coming, and so he gets on the outside of the inner box. Can't do anything from the position. Kerrigan takes up the shoulder of Nico. Does Next as he walks in, takes the head clean off of Kerrigan. Nico, they know he's inside of the moto position. The little cubby with the small gap, a sliver of a gap from the smoke. Or do they? Because Gobby smokes off behind them at top middle. The lobbed smoke in. Next should have an inkling.
Yeah, he right-clicked it as well, so you can hear that bounce a few times and know he's on the other side of it.
And all the attention turns as a result. Bike in front. He can jump on the bike and get to the graveyard if he's smart enough through the smoke, but he backs off because he's tagged on a 41 and can't take the fight. AWP, no, wait. Take the fight first and then try and grab it to get away, or doesn't even risk it. He's only got 14 HP, so that op's going to be tough for him to get.
Wants it, but he's going to get out of the bomb blast.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got to get out now. Best chance is he stays close enough that he goes, yeah, back now. And everyone's down on the other side, so if he gets there, that's nicely done, actually. I'll give him that.
Well, it is big, though. Once again, taking another gun round here. Money still dire for FaZe. About 3K per player. 4 rounds in a row now for Big. They've won the half. It's 8-6 overall. You are listening to us via the wireless. And to round number 15. Orb recovered, though. That's a big deal at this point for FaZe. The fact is they take the AWP, which has been so successful for them, especially in the hands of Alu. They bring that into the final round here, and they force around it. M4s, UMPs, and FaMAS and Kiyoshima on the Mag 7. A good weapon for Inferno, to be fair, especially in the apartment/boiler room. It's up to Alu now. He has to work really hard for these frags. He can't sit back and hold the defensive line. He needs to be challenging for the frags at the very start. Same story for Kiyoshima. This Mag 7, good damage. He's got to be down to 6 HP.
Goes down to 46 himself.
Yeah.
But very, very near kill. Fired a shotgun at a shooting range this week.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was all right.
Was it videoed?
Yeah, we did. Well, I don't want to spoil.
Okay.
But yeah, we did. I told Anders to stand behind me and catch me after I shot it. In case, I went flying.
Big, strong arms.
Yeah, he's a big man. Kiev looking grim for the angle. This time he's a little quicker around the corner than he was when he spotted off against Nico. He actually finds the kill on Nico, but they have to worry about Kerrigan, or do they?
Oh my God.
Jump shot, that's all it takes. Kerrigan goes down to a P250.
Kiev's feeling it. 4-on-3 now. Smoke towards CT spawn. They don't have to commit to this either. They can drop that smoke. CTs have to rotate over. You just assume that site's over. All 3 CTs, look at them right now, have rotated. They've taken the bait. The bomb hasn't gone in, and it's going to be big, ending up towards the A side of the map. Surely as well. That should be round. Tamsin to commit to this point. They can do it, but they haven't really capitalized at this point. I think if you're going to do this, you need to be going in straight away. 25 seconds. Still have the advantage, of course, but they're allowing Alu to rotate back in towards the library. Smoke towards Arch, being very slow and precise about this one. It's up to Ray now to rotate towards the A site and try and defend. He's got the FaMAS in hand.
Smokes go down in front of the library. Alu with a nade is able to collect before he's locked off, and it's Rain. Not found inside of the site, able to walk out with a pistol to close it off. 8-7, but it's Big that leads the way at half.
I think that was a bit of a missed call there from Big to finish things off. The fact you get 2 kills per banana like that, either fully commit and get in there. That was the worst of both worlds, really. Yeah, sure, they dropped the smoke. That's amazing. Oh, you've done the sickest fake of all time there. You can actually go back towards A. They have to take the bait. They have no grounds not to. But the fact of the matter is they were so apprehensive to actually get in towards the A side. They were so slow about it. Did you see how much time FaZe had to rotate back in, allow Alu to get in position, nade one of them, get Rain back on the bomb site? One or the other. If you've killed 2 B, just get in there or fall back and do the exact opposite quickly, though. That's the key thing you need to remember. But still, you're absolutely right. That's not taking away from Big. They've won the half against FaZe on Inferno. That's a very difficult thing to do on the T side. They now move over to the arguably easier side, CT. They win the pistol. This could be another underdog story in a major. We'll see what happens here. Go into the buy for FaZe Clan. No Superman purchases. Kerrigan purchases up with the smoke grenade and flashbangs. No armor for him. His 4 teammates, though, with that armor. But look at this play coming in. Very aggressive stuff from the CTs. Pushing down towards middle. It's Kiev to go first. Finding Kerrigan. Takes him down. That's all the utility expended. And it's going to be tapped in the lifetime. 3 of them! My God, this guy's good. 4-on-2 now. Kiyoshima and Rain to recover.
Rain, top of Banana, wondering what just happened. We had Banana covered off, bombs down. He won't even get a chance to go back forward as Legia gets the kill onto him. Kiyoshima trying to get shots. Zevez, the coach of Dignitas, called Big to win this game, by the way, in his daily predictions. He also picked Immortals to win their game at the end of the day against, I believe, Astralis, who they play.
That's right, yeah.
So
9:30.
Yeah, so he's called for that upset as well.
This is amazing. That's quite maverick round coming in there from Big. The fact they're pushing down 3 players at the start as well. That's just not common. That's not a usual pistol whatsoever. CTs normally hold deep lines and crossfires in B, 3 towards the A site, allowing mid control to come in. They'd rush down middle. You could see they weren't ready for that whatsoever. Kiev misses the first shot, sure, but taps in. This is the play that really mattered. They're lined up for him, but that's perfect. He'll take that all day long. Gets the bomb dropped. Takes all 3 kills, and as I said, this guy really is something spectacular in CSGO. Kiyoshima's just laughing about it. Doesn't seem to mind too much. I guess sometimes, Matt, if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
It's true. That's what I tell myself every time.
Every morning?
Every morning.
Just don't cry.
Make fun of myself, and then I won't cry about my situation.
Do not cry. Well,
don't let Moses see you crying. He's a bully.
Can't argue with that. Round number 17. Force buy from FaZe, of course. No bomb going down. Really good with the pistols. Up against an SK style buy from Big. The MP9, 4 UMPs. It's Kiev to make that SMG work with the first encounter with Rain. 5 on 4. Nico going down to 45 HP as well. Doesn't look like FaZe can really do much about this. With Tabson on this flank as well, he should get at least one frag here. There's one. Second, presumably as well. That's a nice shot.
Yeah, was actually quite a nice shot as Nico goes down. It's Kiyoshima and Kerrigan. Kyo again. It's our another duo for the mixed team.
Yep.
So Nex is able to take out Kerrigan. Yeah, that's right. Got B. Tough spot. Kiyoshima's head, and then calls for Kiev to wrap him behind. So the SMG is getting a number of kills. Well, all the kills, because that's all the guns they have, Henry. If you want to be particular, there were no rifles. So
true.
10-7 for Big, but money gained is more the point.
Absolutely.
No one going down either, so stick with the SMGs for one more while they're up against pistols.
Oh yeah, for sure. So 4 UMPs, the MP9 has to be a fully clear from FaZe. Get one flashbang, probably rush banana, flash the corner, hope to get a trade. I don't think anything's been purchased whatsoever. There's $200 on the flash, that's it. The FaZe looking to the future here. And this could be big with a really interesting decision in the first gun round. They're going to be going aggressive here. Probably not that worried about dropping frags. They'd probably rather upgrade to some rifles next round. Tabson, no, he does not care whatsoever. 3 more kills for him. Golby chiming in as well.
Farming.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. So do they bring any rifles here? I would say, considering the situation of being best of 1, certainly upgrade. Okay, so yeah, the AWP comes out for Kiev instead of the MP9. That makes sense. The 4 UMPs, not so much as a risk. I think that's a nice kind of counter. Like, let's balance things out, get more firepower with the AWP, and keep the UMPs up. The MP9 pretty useless against a fully bought terrorist side. But
Kiev, unfortunately, though, given that they're going to have an AWP for Ali, like you say, and then the AKs, doesn't have the best spawn for mid, and I think he wants to get the shot knowing that he's the only full gun. Okay, good to see him stand off and just cover top mid.
Yeah, this is huge for Big right now. They can actually... Ooh, Tabson got hit through the wall there, just to note. If they can hold this round off with the UMPs and the AWP, they probably win this game. This is a chance for them to keep an amazing amount of cash and win a round of SMGs up against a pretty ill-equipped FaZe. You can see Alu, no head armor. Against those UMPs, that's a massive issue.
You go back to look at the smoke at B. It's probably well timed that he put the smoke down when he did, Tabson, because no sooner did he do that than the Molotov came in. It gave him a chance to run away, and Nico expects that he may have gone to the other corner, but can't commit to pushing through the smoke. It would be blind and foolish at this point.
1 minute remaining. Mid control gathered, at least for now. CT's falling back, allowing it to go in control of FaZe. Not really clear where they'll finish up yet. They do have a chance to go towards bananas with the bombs heading as well. 2 smokes to work with, 1 for Coffins, 1 for Spawn, but Kiev there with the AWP, the key player in this situation. He finds his first frag, which he cannot. There's a chance to slow them down, but that's a good incendiary. Might buy him some time as Tabson's dropped to the other side of the map. This is a banana split. Kiev to try and find the next shot.
Kiev, good follow-up. Falls back as well. Kerrigan mid. Pushed by Legia. B goes down to Kerrigan in doing so. Watch for Kiev inside of the site now as well because they go in slowly. Too slowly. Alu follows up with the AWP, but he's against 2. And does he have time? They're going to push through. They look the wrong side. Legia looked over to Orange's 1 rather than toward the default position. He's low on HP. Alu doesn't know it stays to the AWP, and it's bot time for his teammate to rotate around. So Nex joins inside of the site.
Defuse.
And Alu's going to rotate all the way around. Nex still trying to hold him off, but they're on the defuse. You're right, you've called it. He's got the first shot, but it's too late. Full 5 seconds had gone by.
There it is, Big stepping up once again. It was Kiev. I said he had to go big. I need to stop using that word. That really is quite annoying.
It's their fault, not yours.
Yeah, I'm trying my best. Maybe I need to increase my vocabulary. Who knows? But yeah, Alu doing what he can there towards the end. But as Kiev had already done the hard work, finds that initial kill, was actively challenging as well. Knew he had to find some impressive numbers there. And unfortunately for Alu, decent attempt there, but residual utility for the Big side. When they could smoke the bomb, he was in ruins of the AWP. As soon as he misses that first shot, he's done for. The full defuse almost certainly going to be coming in. The CT player defending the diffuser. Can this be the human shield? Going to number 20. The scoreline now, 12 rounds. FaZe is 7. they're going to be buying into this round. Alu say the AWP, so it's not a full commitment in terms of the full investment. They've got maximum save loss bonus next round. So they go for Tech9's Deagles, and of course the saved AWP. 15 kills for Alu, just a note as well. Have a look at the names that potentially haven't really arrived. Kiyoshima 6 and 12. Carrigan 7 and 14. But Nico and Rain having decent games, to be fair. So not like everything's going horribly wrong with Big. Just presenting a very good game so far. The whole team's performing. That's exactly what you need to take down a team like FaZe, you have to say. 12-7. Looking likely to be 13.
Alu. I've done that before, the Alu. That's a classic line. But nearly times the shot well when they cross back over. Would have been a much needed kill. Interesting bounce off the top of the fence. We'll give Nico some room against the wall. Good shot from Alu onto Legia, though. That one will certainly help. And Nico rushes forward, wastes no time. Just grabs the AK.
Yeah.
High risk, high reward, though.
Well, that's an opening pick they desperately needed. 5 and 4 now. Still with smokes and flashbangs to work with. Looks like they end up towards the B side of the map. That's where next. And indeed, Tabson are waiting. That's the main problem. Tabson playing like an absolute monster right now. Bomb not fully committing. They still have time to work with it. Trying to bait out any CT utility. That's one of the final smokes, I believe. Yeah. Oh, okay. Next door has one. He's in CT spawn as well. So you can buy him some more time if required. And he's going to have that in hand right now. Waiting for the call from his teammate. Get that gut feeling as to when he should deploy it. Ideally, about the 30-second mark. Was it maybe a little bit too early? And this will be the final play from FaZe. Probably can't afford to go back towards the A side at this point. Good nade damage coming in. Next, and Tabson to defend. Oh, the incendiary as well. This is pretty rough. Perfect from Nex.
It's the right time. Perfect. After the smoke dissolves. CT covered off. 7 seconds gone. They rush in. Tabson waits at Emo. Good time on the peak. Good damage. They're lining up for it, making it a lot easier as well as he goes to the pistol. And a crossfire established. 13 rounds for Big. No terrorist rounds won yet by FaZe as 5 have gone by in the way of the CTs.
That's how you play those situations from Big there. Utilizing your grenades you have perfectly. Buying yourself some time. Teammates ready and waiting. They're playing off each other. One in CT spawn, one on the bomb site. Smokes down. When there's 20 seconds remaining, drop an incendiary as well. Makes it comfortable with FaZe. Someone has to push through the fire. Someone has to try and get a smoke out and extinguish it. They go through. Tabson lined up at Emo as well, rotating from CT spawn. It's just a beautiful play there. Really, really nice stuff as well. Next, actually delivering a great performance here against FaZe. Round 21, it's 13-7 in favor of Big. Do have a full buy for FaZe. The previous round was just a partial one with the saved AWP as well. They got the opening pick, but that's pretty much all they got. Look at Tabson towards the logs position as well. Wants to keep getting in their grills and shutting them down. Based in by Legia, who's just jumping up with the flashbang as well. Wants to spot one player, flash down, and allow Tabson to potentially get 2 or 3 kills in that spot. It's a nice little setup. It's a risky player. We'll see if it works out for them. There's a flash. Tabson faces. Doesn't get anything for it just yet, but Nico seems to think something's going on there.
Thank all he likes. He's got to find the shots. Does do slight and minor damage onto Legia.
Yeah.
Caught his shin bone, maybe. Gets rain. Nico does wait for the push through. A little bit aggressive from Tabson.
Wasn't required, was it?
Not at all. Didn't need to happen. They had control already. Gives a man back, which means if they take down Legia fast enough jumping through, they could open up toward Banana. Kerrigan's got the bomb. He's going to race against Kiev. And he does have a smoke to cover off CT, which he needs to just throw on the way through. Have to. Forces Kiev to go around toward Ruins. Kerrigan's going to go for the fast plant. His teammate, Kiyoshima, already makes it to Banana. So they have a post-plant setup on this as well. And this all comes off the back of Tabson getting too aggressive. Flash in. Kerrigan, speaking of aggression, nearly gets away with another, but Nex is able to respond. A Molotov goes down on the bomb early for Kyo so he can check behind him. He's done so, but he may actually get caught off by checking it because as soon as he does, that's exactly when Godby came around the corner, so the timing is off. Nex takes down Kyo. Bomb, is it going to be defused?
Yeah. Loads of time.
Okay, I thought I saw 10 seconds on it, but yeah, there is loads of time either way, so they'll get away with it.
Well, a timeout coming in for FaZe at this stage as well, and well recovered from Big there. I thought that round was going to be a bit of a blunder, considering they got the first 2 picks, and Tabson runs through the smoke for no real reason, left Legia in a tight situation. Luckily, he gets 1 kill there, but comes down to the 1 versus 3 situation. Kiyoshima, like he said, Molotov on the bomb to buy him some more time, needs to actively hunt for frags there, can't get them, well pincered by Big. Very well disciplined and managed to make the scoreline 14-7. Maximum loss bonus in the bomb means they can fully buy.
The only reason I asked is Kiev was the one player without a kit, and starts with K, Kusta.
Okay,
I was a little worried there for a second.
Yeah, that was rough, wasn't it?
Poor guy. Just can't
You
catch a break.
truly hate to see that.
You got to ask Moses about that one, because isn't he Kusta's personal trainer?
He is life coach, I believe he calls himself.
That's right, life coach.
Yeah. But, yeah. Shout out to him. Commiserations. You do truly hate to see that.
That was rough.
Anyway, we're getting to round number 22. And this was the pause for FaZe Clan. They do not have the AWP available. Not a big deal on the T side of Inferno, of course, but big now in touching distance. And the Swiss format, where they've seemed to thrive recently, looking like they're going to take this map against FaZe. That would be such a massive result. Amazing for them. Like, I don't think anyone saw this. It's a challenger team to come and take down one of the world's very best. And
Zebras apparently saw it.
Apparently.
They are a tactical mastermind. That's the thing. They could easily catch you off. Again, Swiss system. FaZe will, if they don't win this, if they don't come back, go down 0-1. Big still have a large job ahead of them, to be honest, if they're going to make a playoff. But it's not from the realm of possibility that we get 2 or 3 challenging teams in, especially with G2 as a challenging team. Cloud9, now they played in Cologne. Tabson, how he's playing right now for Big as he goes aggressive. Nico and Alu stand no chance. Double headshot.
So sick. You see the teamwork as well. He's getting set up by his teammates. And Keith, he's not slowing down either. Another AWP shot lands. Takes down Carrigan. 5-on-2 now. Big, almost certainly going to make it to match point. Who would have thought? To the Kiyoshima and Rain, though. Still a deadly duo. Haven't really arrived too much in this game as of yet. But 15 seconds remaining towards quad. They need to find some kills here. Still have a chance.
Good shot, Kiev. Down goes Keo. They know exactly where the last player is, and Lagia is going to find Rain. It's 15 rounds for Big and only 7 for FaZe Clan. Not a single T-side round picked up. That's not good enough, I'm afraid.
It's not, but Big, very good indeed. Towards Banana, just keep applying the pressure. A lot of teams, especially from this tier of Counter-Strike, tier 2/tier 3 almost, they would be panicking at this stage. They'd think, okay, the aggressive stuff's worked so far. Let's make sure we don't lose this game. Let's just hold back. Don't give anything away. Don't make any risks. Tabster doesn't care about that. He wants to get in the grills and show he can be the most deadly player on the server right now. And he manages to get that amazing spray down there. Shuts down FaZe with a flashbang from his teammate. And we'll see whether they can continue it as we go into potentially the final round here. 2 UMPs, a Tech 9, a couple of AKs. That's all that separates Big from winning their first game here at the Major.
Good shot. Godbeat tries to transfer it immediately to catch Rain. Kiyoshima's already in the hallway, so as he tries to retreat the other direction, gets caught off, but look at Kiev go.
Wow.
It's Christmas Eve for Kiev as he finds 2, and they've almost got the big day ahead of them. Just 1 round to find 2 kills, Nico and Alu, but they each find a pick, which means we go level until Nex finds Alu instead.
But look who it is.
It's all down to one-hit wonder. Nico. Top dog. The buyout to bring him here. This is the major they've been waiting for. He's got to plant and force the issue. They're going to wait. They're going to allow the plant because they can afford to. Kits on either side, a smoke, as well as an incendiary. And speaking of the first one, massive damage. Good shot, Nico. Tabson snuck in a little further than I think he's anticipating, but can't get the shot back yet. It's AK versus AK, but the HP favors Tabson. The shot does not. Good play from Nico.
Just when you think they've done enough, arguably 2 of the most skilled players at this major. That was great standoff there. Tabson and Nico going at it there. Molotov was good as well. That's a 2v1 situation, but it's Nico, of course it is, to keep FaZe Clan alive, at least for now. They go into round number 24. That's the first round they've posted here in the second half, man, the T side. UMPs and Galil still wasn't a convincing round, of course. 1 player surviving. They do manage to bring the AWP out, but 7 rounds in a row now required from FaZe. Is that the lifeline they needed to get themselves back into this game? We'll find out. We're into round number 24 here. 15-8. Default round from FaZe. Felt like that was it with Keith hitting those AWP shots as well. Surely that was the end, but still a few more twists and turns, it seems.
Tabson, same spot we saw him get to last time from the half wall. I think Alu spotted him on the last jump. I think he's spotted in return, though, because the smoke goes down and no further jumps commence. Slightly interesting flash. I think that may have been misthrown. Caught the edge of the top of the doorway. Really just blinds up Kerrigan.
Here we go then. Mid control obtained by FaZe. Damage done to Alu. That's about all I've got to report so far. The bomb's still down in middle, but interestingly, Nico the savior of the previous round. He's alone in B, trying to find a frag. They're showing presence right now. If he can get a kill on this side of the map, his teammates can commit towards the A side. They can go for the banana split still, but it's Golby to find that first frag once again. Did in the previous round, but then instantly shut down. Carrigan goes towards the arch. Should find his kill on next, but he can't do it. 5-on-3 now.
Back and forth on the pillar. 5-on-3 indeed. Another chance. 19 seconds. Got a number of chances.
This is it.
This could be it. I mean, the thing is the money. If they even lose this one, they're still in a good position, so it's going to be hard pressed. 2 players in, 1 player down, at least pulled back by Kiyoshima. Bomb plant, orange is 1. As Kyo finds Legia, that gives them the chance to do so. It's got to be done quickly. And Nico is in a problem because he gets caught out from top of Banana. That leaves Kyo in the corner. Keith gets both, and it's the win for Big. They'll go 1-0 against FaZe Clan.
That's unbelievable. You told me this was the result going into this one, I'd say not a chance. I have no Big, a decent tactical team. They've got interesting strategies, but lacking firepower. It's always been my problem with them, but not today. Everyone stepped up. Everyone had their rounds. Even Legia and Next had massive moments. Next finishes on 23 kills. He's up there with Tabson. Same frags ratio. Maybe this is the tournament we can see Next have some serious impact for this team. He's been missing for so many years. I feel like 2 years since we've seen him play really decent level of CS, but this was a great performance all round. The T sub was great. Winning the T half against a team like FaZe. 8 rounds with a few blunders chucked in there as well. Their executions were great. The tactics were on point. The adaptions and the change of pace as well. It looked fantastic. FaZe stages looked out of their depth. They were having to save with 3 players alive just because they knew they'd been completely shut down by the tactical prowess of Big.
I think one of the best calls is what you mentioned on, I think it was round 5 maybe?
Yeah, exactly.
Pick up the nice wall of smoke inside of, Banana and B in the previous round and then instantly just rush change the pace, no chance to set up for FaZe Clan. And obviously that broke down the economy. It started to sway the momentum, and then we went into a level match for a while until 8-7.5, and then they ran away on the CT side. Looked very solid. Everyone was hitting shots. Tabson looked a lot more confident on the CT side, I have to say, which was in the early stages something I was still waiting to see because look, we've said it. The guy's a god against the Tier 2 teams.
Yeah.
But I'm still waiting to see, especially in the qualifier, if he was going to do it against Tier 1. And he was, there was hints of it, but it wasn't really there. This was great by the end of it.
This was fantastic from Tabson. He was one of the players getting them over the finish line as well, aggressively towards B. Like I was saying, a lot of players like that will start to crumble when it comes to the closing stages of the game. You feel like, what, we might actually beat FaZe here. Let's just be defensive. But no, he kept punching them, kept taking them down, hit them with a haymaker at the end as well. 3-man spray downs across the board. Really impressive stuff.
I think Kiev also deserves credit. The LVP in the last 3 rounds was exceptional. But that said, Big have beaten FaZe. We'll send it back to the panel on their thoughts.
Yeah, thoughts indeed. Thank you very much, Henry and Sadakis, for the commentary. We'll be switching up in the commentary booth for our next matchup. However, still plenty to talk about between Big and FaZe. Their first major is underway, and they've already got their first win under their belt. And what a big scalp it is. Not a single person on this desk didn't predict that Big would win.
I mean, what are you going to say?
Yeah,
you got it absolutely right, guys.
Yeah, no, a lot of pick'em challenges probably ruined on day one. That's quite nice.
Well, yeah, mine have definitely gone down the pan, which I'm now going to have to admit to God B, presuming we get to talk to him as well, which is going to be very embarrassing. I'm not going to be alone though, because this is a big surprise.
Yeah, very well played by them as well. I mean, early part they looked a little timid in the first couple of rounds, but then afterwards they picked up the pace and managed to take banana control. You saw a nice wraparound towards the B bomb side, and then you see FaZe, first of all, adapting as well, going into a little bit more passive, especially towards the A bomb side once a big focus started to be on that A bomb side. And then it was a back and forth, a little bit play there from both teams. So from a tactical perspective, just a lot of both teams trying to adapt to the other team all the time. But then just little mistakes here coming in from FaZe's side, losing rounds where Nico pushes in a situation where there's like 10 seconds on the clock. He takes a peek in the B bomb side instead of just hiding and waiting for the big players to come into the bomb side. Then he had the Rain 3K situation, and with Nex and Legia winning up to a 4. Like when those kind of things and mistakes happen, what else is going to tilt you, if not that?
The game plan that Big comes into this is just actually incredible. I mean, I'll just walk you through it a little bit. I mean, the first round they win is that smoke site that Matt and Henry were talking about towards the B bomb site, wrap around Tor construction and CT spawn. The next round, FaZe does a triple player over towards the B bomb site to prevent banana control for Big, and Big actually just changes the pace and rushes up mid. And what that does, and this is a long-term effect, is Alu's trying to get aggressive down mid. He's trying to find a peak, and he's bombarded with nades, not expecting how fast and how much pressure they're bringing to him. That makes him a little bit nervous moving forward if he ever wants to take that stance again. And then even moving forward, when you start making those fast plays as Big, FaZe have to use so much utility to slow it down because they never know if it's going to be the full commit. They never know if it's going to be a pause, so they use a lot of nades. So what all these rounds do early on, even if you don't get the wins, it still like plants that seed in the opponent's mind, and it still helps improve your fast strategies later on in the half, your slow strategies later on in the half, and then exactly what Natsu said, you could tell that 2v4 just tilts FaZe off the planet of the Earth. I mean, it's a situation where you see, you know, Nika with 6 to 10 seconds left on a clock taking a fight out in the open. He could have just hidden the B bomb site, could have just won the round in that fashion, but he takes that fight while Alu is rotating. Later on, Kerrigan jumps through a smoke to take a fight while Nico is rotating to bail him out. They could have played these situations better with their teammates. And I mean, at times, that happened frequently, and it's the only kind of real impression it leaves in my mind is arrogance on an individual level, thinking you can just walk through a smoke and get these kills. And I mean, yes, we've been talking about there is a massive skill disparity in these two teams. Yes, FaZe have the more skilled players, but you can't just do that in these matches and get away with it no matter at this level, no matter who you're playing.
I mean,
against.
if they're going to make a mistake, I guess doing it in the first one is probably the best place to do it because they've got 4 chances to get out of it. We're going to get more from both of our panel members in just a moment, but I do have a man joining us from the player area. I consider you a good friend, and I have to say, my friend, you should have the biggest grin on your face right now.
I think I do. Thank you. Unfortunately, guys, I cannot see you, but I can imagine how beautiful you are.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. I also have a little bit of a confession to make, Godby. I know we're friends, but I didn't have you in my pick'ems.
No problem. It's okay.
Is it okay?
It's okay.
Okay.
No problem.
All right. Good. I'm let off. That's lucky. I thought this was going to be an awkward interview on the back of that. Let's get serious for a moment. You guys were 4-0 down in this game. Didn't look good to start with. A little bit shaky here and there. Got over the nerves. Was it a bit nerves, or what was it early on?
To be honest, yeah, a little bit. I think we were a little bit shaky. We had like a 3-on-2 situation in the pistol. We should have won, but they also had like really good shots. So props to them.
Yep.
And we knew we needed to have money because otherwise it's really hard to win rounds. And even though we won rounds, they kept saving their weapons. At least at the start, it was really hard. So we needed to play a lot of equip rounds, and we used the eco rounds to scout out how are they playing like we know they play, or they play a little different. And we figured out they played a little bit different. Kyo didn't help Banana in the start at all, so we figured out, okay, we can take Banana control easier against 2 as against 3. And yeah, after we take Banana control once, and we knew, okay, Kyo needs to, they will take him now to Banana, and then we rushed A. Like we had like a pretty easy game plan, but overall, like we also practiced really well for this map against. Also, we practiced against other teams, and we imagined to play against FaZe, so we played kind of the same strategies over and over again. So we're pretty confident, but as you guys said, we're pretty shaky at the start.
Yeah, definitely a surprise for everyone outside of your team, I guess. Where do you rank this on the big scale? Because you've had 6-7 months together now. This has to be your biggest win so far, doesn't it?
It doesn't feel like the biggest win because, to be honest, it's like the first game in the Swiss system. Everything can happen. Still, even FaZe, you know, they can. It's not time for them to put their heads down or so. It's just the first game. Even though we would have lost the first game, we said to ourselves, hey, we will stay cool, we will laugh, we will have fun, and we will play like we played in the pracs.
Yep.
And we did that, unfortunately for FaZe, fortunately for us, and yeah, we're really happy at the moment.
Well, you're very humble, as always, but I have to say, this thing you've got going on with the team where you're all in the same house and you're enjoying each other's company and your friends, and I heard earlier you're taking vacations together. What are you doing? Seriously, come on, man. Go and have a vacation on your own. Do it after the major or something. But it's great, but it's also, it seems to be leaking into the communications that you have. I saw a few shots of some of your players. When you lose a round, there's no arguing, there's no getting upset. I saw several of you almost laughing sometimes in some of the rounds, thinking, Christ, what did we do in that round? How do you do that?
The mood is really good,
yeah.
But they are screaming, they are arguing, but they're a little bit hidden. So
okay.
No, we need to be honest. Sometimes I can be a little bit angry to my teammates.
You angry? No.
Yeah, I
can.
But
no, I'm not having any of that.
I've heard the stories.
If I'm hungry, I'm really angry sometimes.
You're hangry? Okay.
Yeah.
I've also got Moses alongside and Nato. I know they want to ask you a few questions as well.
I was wondering, like, there was a bunch of rounds where the time really went down to the last, 7 seconds or so before you hit the bomb side. Was it more about you guys being maybe a little timid in certain situations, taking a little bit more time than you usually do in practice, or was that something you really basically plan out. You wanted to make sure that you had all corners covered before you went to a bomb site.
To be honest, it's really hard to play against FaZe on this map because the equipment timing is so hard. It feels really pressured. The in-game leader, like I had a lot of, my game was just like chess. I just needed to dodge the equipment from the enemy, and my team needed to make the kills. Like it was really hard for me sometimes, but the first 2 gun rounds went as we expected them, but then they obviously adapted, and we needed to adapt again, and that's why we sometimes didn't had so much time left. And I would also agree with you that we were a little bit afraid to go through smokes maybe and these kind of stuff. And also props to FaZe. I think they played as CT really good. It sometimes came down to really, really less time, which will happen a lot on Inferno. And obviously they also made in the late game a few mistakes, which we benefit from. But overall, it was like really hard for us, and that's why we needed to play like the 10-second game or the 15-second game.
Yep.
Some of those mistakes they were making coming down the stretch is players coming through smokes, players not waiting for their teammates to do retakes when you guys did take a bomb site on your T side. When you're playing against that, I know you kind of get that feeling that you finally, put your opponents on tilt, as we say, or like maybe a little bit frustrated. When you go into the second half, that call to push down middle on CT pistol, is that something to kind of like push them over the edge a little bit? Did you kind of sense that they were kind of at that precipice, or was that always planned from the start of this match?
No, it was planned from start of the match. It was nothing psychologically or so, but...
Did you feel like they were tilting at all? Did you feel like they were getting to that point?
We didn't felt that they were tilting, but in some point we felt like the ideas of them, they didn't have any ideas left. The rounds went almost like the same way all the time. So they didn't play they played aggressive banana, and they keep smoking mid. So we needed to have really much patience, and as I said, we needed to play this 25-second game because they went out of equipment in the late game, and they didn't. That's what they could do better in the next game. A small tip, Finn. You should balance your equipment sometimes and just hold it off and don't re-smoke every single time. But I know they will do it, and they will learn from this lose for sure.
Okay.
One more.
Kind of, when I was watching, I got the sense that some of the tactics you were calling were like layered, where some of the strategies you called early on in the match were leading into tactics you wanted to call later in. Is there truth to that? Are you kind of like looking at setting up like an early game to the half to allow you to set up, the second stages of the half?
Yeah, sometimes. In this game, it was also like this. The key was Kiyoshima. We needed to have him where we want him to have. And there was also one round where we exploded apps, and I was the guy who were entering, and I just watched just one position. I just went out and just watched balcony. I didn't watch any other position. So it kind of worked in the end, but also it was a little bit lucky, to be honest, because it's still Counter-Strike. He could stay in another position, even though most of the time he will stay this position. But yeah, in the end we were a little bit lucky, and the preparation was also key again, and we're happy. What can I say?
Yeah, good stuff.
Well
indeed.
deserved.
Yes. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Scott. Good luck.
One quick question as well. You recently joined the 30 Club, your birthday. Sorry, happy belated birthday, by the way. I know you celebrated it a few days ago. You're one of 4 players here that are now over 30 at the major, which is incredible. Does that allow you to enjoy moments like this more?
No, I wouldn't say.
You just want to be 10 years younger like me?
Yeah, exactly. The club is something special, but I would rather not be in the club.
Right, okay. I won't talk about it ever again. I won't ever bring it up, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Congrats on a great game and a win on day one. Has got to be there for Big Clan. They are in their first major, and they've already claimed their first win as well. Some great performances to wrap up with as well. We'll take a look at the scoreboard and show you what those scores look like. In particular, you have to say Nex and Tabson. You both highlighted the fact that we needed big performances from these two guys if they were going to do well, and they've stepped up.
Well, Tabson's essentially always needed because he's that consistent star, right? It is Nex who's like, if he is going to do performances like this, and if they want to get to the next level, then it probably has to be him, and it has to be him or Kiev. And in this one, it was certainly Nex with the added bonus of Kiev having some phenomenal impact with that AWP. It was the way, I think Matt and Henry mentioned it before they threw back to us. It's the way these guys on the CT side, I thought the T half was more interesting in terms of how well Big played, but the CT side, the way that they just kept map control on the defense, like in the middle stages of the round, which oftentimes is when you see teams, and especially we saw it from FaZe, slink back into the bomb site when they start to run out of economy and run out of utility. So that that was really cool to watch. Like the constant having a player at the base of banana with one player to support him. He's there for a quick flank. He's there to gather information. If you can't clear that out as FaZe's Terra side, this is what happens. You only get 1 or 2 rounds on your Terra side.
Yeah, it was 8-1 on the CT side.
And also, I mean, for FaZe, you can't really get tangled up too much into this. What happened? Because at the end of the day, there was a bunch of like really clear mistakes and just arrogance in a lot of the situations how they were going through in VTEX before the bomb necessarily was even planted. So if they're able to, capitalize the 5-on-2 advantages they have, players not peeking when the time is low and you're hiding in a bomb site, you win those kind of rounds that you should normally. You're looking at a 10-5, 9-6 kind of half, and then it's a different ball game going into the second half. So that's kind of what they need to look into.
Tabson, the MVP for this one. It's also his best performance at a major. He hasn't had a huge amount of performances, it has to be said, having only one previous event here. But that is his personal best at a major. Next also with 23 for 11 and 100 ADR as well. So big numbers by both of those two as well. Thank you very much, gents. We're going to get more from you after the break. We're going to be moving on and more action coming. We've still got 3 more matches to go on day 1, so plenty more Counter-Strike to look forward to. The Legends have finally been slayed at the 5th time of asking. It's 4-1 right now as far as the Legends are concerned. Next up, another legendary team go head-to-head to restore the balance. Can North do it? We'll find out after the break.